Welcome, my friends. Please send someone now. He just heard my dad's voice on my phone. But my dad's been dead for 15 years. He dropped the phone and he's looking at me like he's seen a ghost. Oh my God, he's coming back up the stairs. If you think you know where this story is going, you have absolutely no idea. This actually happened to a 17-year-old girl in Cleveland, and what she accidentally uncovered that night is so much darker than any haunted phone glitch you've ever heard. Smash the like button right now, subscribe if you haven't yet, and drop in the comments where you're watching from, because after this, you're gonna need someone to talk to. Everything was perfectly normal in the Benson house on Maplewood Drive, a quiet cul-de-sac in Westlake, Ohio, where the biggest drama was usually whose turn it was to shovel the driveway after a lake-effect snowstorm. It was early summer 2023, and for the first time in 15 years, 42-year-old Lisa Benson was smiling at her phone like a teenager again. Her husband Ryan had been killed in a horrific wreck back in 2008, leaving her to raise their only daughter Kaylee alone. Lisa had buried herself in work, school runs, and grief, swearing she'd never let another man in. But then Derek Harlan slid into her Facebook messages. 45, broad-shouldered, salt and pepper hair, owns his own contracting business, posts pictures of his golden retriever and Cleveland Browns tailgates. He was funny, patient, kept saying all the right things. You deserve to be happy again, Lisa. Within weeks, he was fixing her leaky kitchen faucet without being asked, bringing Kaylee Starbucks on his way over, telling Lisa she looked beautiful in sweatpants. Classic love bombing, but to a widow who hadn't been touched in a decade and a half, it felt like oxygen. Kaylee was 17 now, junior year behind her, counting down to college. At first, she thought Derek was kinda cool. He upgraded their Wi-Fi, took them to Texas Roadhouse, even helped her fix the dent in her Jeep. He moved in 3 months after the first date, boxes and all, telling Lisa, "I just want to be where you are." The three of them grilling in the backyard, laughing while the fireflies blinked on, it almost felt like the hole Ryan left had finally closed. Little did they know the man eating dinner at their table every night had been running from that exact same hole for 15 years, and he wasn't here to fill it. He was here to bury them in it. At first, the little things were easy to brush off. Derek would stand in the hallway, staring at the big framed photo from Lisa and Ryan's 2005 wedding, the one where Ryan's grinning in his dress blues. Derek's eyes would just lock there, way longer than normal. Kaylee caught him doing it 3-4 times. Then came the questions. "Hey, what kind of truck did your dad drive again?" he'd ask casually over dinner. Or, "Did they ever figure out exactly how fast the other guy was going?" Lisa hated talking about the crash. She'd change the subject or leave the room. But the more she shut it down, the more Derek pushed, until one night he snapped at her, voice sharp. "I just want to understand what happened to your family, Lisa. Why are you hiding it from me?" Kaylee had never heard him raise his voice before. The silence afterward felt radioactive. Then the vibe in the house shifted. Derek started staying up later, pacing the hallway outside Kaylee's room, phone flashlight flickering under her door at 2 a.m., like he was checking if she was asleep. He'd ask who she was texting, joke about reading her messages, but his laugh never reached his eyes anymore. Friday, October 13th, 2023. Lisa was working a double shift at the hospital. Kaylee was alone upstairs, door cracked, AirPods in, whispering on the phone like she had been for weeks. The caller ID always read the same thing: Dad, do not answer, deceased. She knew it was impossible, but the voice on the other end was warm, familiar, urgent. "Kaylee Bug, you have to listen to me. Check his toolbox in the garage. Look for the St. Christopher medal." She was crying quietly, telling him she missed him, when the bedroom door slammed open so hard it bounced off the wall. Derek stood there, chest heating, eyes wild. "Who the hell are you talking to?" he snarled. Before Kaylee could react, he lunged across the bed and ripped the phone out of her hand. He pressed it to his ear, And whatever he heard next made 15 years of running catch up to him all at once. Derek's fingers clamped around Kaylee's phone like a vice. He brought it to his ear, that cocky snarl still curling his lip. And then every drop of blood drained from his face so fast it looked like someone pulled a plug in his neck. The voice coming through the speaker was low, calm, and unmistakable. "Tell Derek I've been waiting for him." Derek's knees actually buckled. The phone slipped an inch before he caught it again, pressing it harder against his head like he could force the words back inside. "Ryan?" he whispered, voice cracking like a 12-year-old boy's. "Ryan, that's not possible." Kaylee scrambled back against the headboard, heart slamming so hard she could taste metal. The screen was still lit in Derek's shaking hand, and right there in big white letters was the contact name she'd never changed. "Dad, do not answer. Deceased." She had been getting calls from that number for 6 weeks, always late at night, always the same warm, cracked voice that used to sing her brown-eyed girl in the garage while he changed her bicycle tires. The first time it rang, she almost threw the phone across the room. The second time, she answered and heard breathing. By the fourth time, she was whispering back, begging him to say something, anything, because for a few seconds, the hole in her chest didn't hurt as much. Now, Derek was the one breathing like he was drowning. "Who was this?" he demanded, but the tremor in his voice betrayed him. "Who the fuck is this?" The man on the line laughed softly, the same laugh Kaylee grew up with, the one that meant someone was about to get tickled until they screamed. "You took something from me, Derek. Time to give it back." Derek's eyes snapped to Kaylee, pupils blown wide, and for the first time, she saw pure animal terror in a grown man's face. He looked at her like she was the ghost. You've been talking to him this whole time?" Kaylee couldn't speak. She just nodded, tears sliding sideways into her hair. Derek took one step back, then another, until he hit the doorframe. The phone was still glued to his ear, and whatever was just said next made his legs give out completely. He slid down the wall, knees to chest, staring at nothing, while the voice of a dead man kept talking, calm and patient, like a father explaining why his daughter needed to be very, very careful around the monster sleeping in her mother's bed tonight. Derek stayed crumpled on the hallway carpet for what felt like hours, phone still pressed to his ear, whispering no, 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 like a broken record, while the voice on the other end kept talking. Kaylee couldn't move. She just watched the man who'd kissed her mom goodnight every evening for months rock back and forth, tears and snot running down his face, repeating one name over and over. "Ryan. Ryan, I'm sorry. I was drunk. I didn't mean." And that's when every piece snapped into place with a sound Kaylee would hear in her nightmares for the rest of her life. Derek Harlan wasn't Derek Harlan at all. His real name was Derek Moyer. 15 years ago, on a rain-slicked stretch of I-90, Derek Moyer blew a .22, crossed the yellow line, and smashed head-on into Ryan Benson's pickup truck. Ryan died on impact. Moyer walked away with a broken collarbone and a manslaughter charge. He posted bail 2 days later and vanished. He spent the next decade and a half erasing himself. New name, new state, new face, nose job, jaw implant, the works. He told himself it was survival. But somewhere along the line, survival turned into obsession. He started Googling Lisa Benson every single year on the anniversary. Watched Kaylee grow up in Facebook photos, read every memorial post. And instead of guilt eating him alive, something darker took root. He wanted to own what he destroyed. So when Lisa changed her relationship status to ready to start again in early 2023, Derek created a brand new profile, moved back to Ohio, and slid into her DMs like fate. Every "you deserve happiness" text was calculated. Every home repair, every I love you whispered in her bed was part of a sick plan to slide into the exact space Ryan Benson used to occupy and finish what the crash started. He wanted to raise Ryan's daughter, sleep next to Ryan's wife, erase Ryan completely. And he almost did. Kaylee stared at the man sobbing on her carpet and realized the monster hadn't broken into their house tonight. He had been living in it for months, tucking her in, hugging her mom, smiling in family photos, waiting for the perfect moment to make the Benson family disappear for good. If you're waiting for me to say the calls were actually Ryan's ghost reaching out from beyond, I'm sorry, but that would have been the kinder version. The truth is so much worse. The voice on the phone wasn't Ryan. It was Uncle Chris, Ryan's identical twin brother, the one person on Earth who sounded exactly like Kaylee's dad. Chris had never believed Derek Meyer just disappeared after the crash. For 15 years, he kept the file open, paid private investigators, watched Lisa's Facebook like a hawk. The second Derek Harland liked one of her photos in 2023, Chris knew. He ran the face through aging software, matched the ears, the scar on the left hand, everything. Chris cloned Ryan's old Verizon number through a burner service and started calling Kaylee at night, pretending to be her dad so she wouldn't hang up. Every "Hey Kaylee" bug was Chris fighting tears, feeding her just enough to keep her alert without tipping Lisa off and sending Derek running again. That night, when Derek finally whispered, "Ryan, I'm sorry," into the phone, Chris heard it live. That was the confession he'd waited half his life for. 23 minutes later, red and blue lights flooded the street. Derek was in the kitchen, gun shaking in his hand, screaming at Lisa and Kaylee to get in the basement, or I swear I'll finish what I started in 2008. Front door exploded open. Chris stepped through first, same height, same voice, same eyes as the dead man, only very much alive and wearing a bulletproof vest. Derek raised the gun, mouth open in a silent scream. Chris didn't flinch. He said, "Drop it, Derek," in the exact same voice that just broke Derek on the phone upstairs. "You already killed Ryan once. You don't get to do it twice." The comment section still hasn't recovered. Derek was cuffed on the kitchen floor, sobbing, confessing everything to the body cam while Chris held Lisa upright so she wouldn't hit the tile. The full confession spilled out in one breath. The crash, the plastic surgery, stalking her online for years, the fantasy of replacing Ryan completely. Lisa collapsed when the detective played the clip back for her in the living room. She didn't scream. She just folded in half and made this sound I hope I never hear again. Derek Moyer got life with no parole. The judge called it the most premeditated evil she'd ever seen. Kaylee still sleeps with her bedroom door locked and a chair under the knob. She told detectives one thing that keeps me up at night, and it's the last thing she ever said about that year. The scariest part, he almost became my stepfather, and none of us ever Googled him. So if your mom, your sister, your best friend is dating someone new right now, do it tonight, because some monsters don't break in. They ask permission, and you let them. If you're watching this while your mom is dating someone new, do not wait. I'm begging you, Google him tonight. Reverse image search his photos. Check the sex offender registry. Do it right now before he's eating at your table, sleeping in your house, calling himself family. Hit subscribe and turn that bell on, because every single week I'm posting the stories the algorithm doesn't want you to see, the ones that could actually save your life or someone you love. Drop "protect your mom" in the comments if you're doing it tonight. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there.